Ever wondered what it's like to navigate the world of STEM as a woman? Welcome to Dear Woman in STEM, a glimpse into the diary of a Black woman in STEM. Myself, Lilian Judy. As a plastics engineer and a voice for women in STEM, I'm here to inspire and keep it real with you. I explore the multifaceted experiences of women in STEM, from my personal achievements and work challenges to my friendships, finances, and so much more. This is Dear Woman in STEM. Let's get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Lilian Judy, and this is the Dear Woman in STEM podcast. How are you guys doing? How has your summer been? It's been a really hot summer. The global warming is doing its big one. It's been really hot everywhere, but I hope you've been trying to stay cool and have fun this summer so far. My summer has been filled with a lot of Love Island, I must say, both US and UK. And a special shout out to the winners. Not all of them were my faves, but the Black girls are doing their big thing. And I'm proud of all the Black girls. The Black couples were dominating this entire season for both the US and the UK. So I was really happy. It was just a really good distraction. It was really good. And now I'm like, what am I supposed to be watching on TV? Because I feel like there's nothing to watch anymore. I've watched every single thing. Going outside is expensive, so they need to make more things for us to watch on TV because, Anyways, I hope you guys have had an amazing summer so far. July is ending. We're almost in August. The year is literally speeding by. I don't know where it's going, but it needs to chill because January was like not long ago. I feel like it was just a few months ago when I was just like, Happy New Year to people. So what's up? What's going on? Anyways, I am so excited for today's topic because I'm going to share some of my reflections from our just ended Dear Women in STEM workshop. For those who joined, thank you so much. Those who didn't join, listen, y'all need to look out for the next one because the nuggets that were dropped in this first one, I've been rewatching it. I'm just like, wow, I need to take notes because it was so helpful for every stage of your career. And I really hope you guys join us for the second workshop. So today I want to highlight or share some of my thoughts because on the journey to actually executing this workshop, let me tell you, your girl struggled. Like imposter syndrome was knocking at my door 24/7. And I was just struggling. Sometimes we forget how powerful our mind is and how important it is to really surround yourself with the right people who would be able to pull you out of dark spaces that you may find yourself in. Now, putting together this Dear Women in STEM virtual workshop was very scary. Like, it was very scary to me because there were so many unknowns. There were obviously the potential challenges that could come up. I was worried about engagement levels. I was worried whether we were going to be able to create a meaningful experience online. But despite all the fears that I had, the process was incredibly rewarding for me because after all was said and done, I realized how important it is to really push past your fear and pursue your dreams. So today, I actually want to focus more on one of the important topics really stood out for me, at least during the panel conversation. It's on work-life balance, right? I think a question was posed by someone about how to effectively balance everything with life. And for me, I personally don't believe that work-life balance exists. I don't think it's possible. It cannot be equal, like the same percentages all around. I remember during our marriage counseling, the marriage counselor shared with us how they also believe that there's a hierarchy in life. And as life goes on, you basically move things up and down. So maybe in this season of your life, the most important thing would be your career, and then it comes to your relationships, and then it comes down to your family or whatever it is, whatever the order is. So there's an order. For me, I don't think it's balanced. Like we're all on the same scale and same percentages all around. So this topic came up during the workshop, and I really loved the conversation we had because honestly, as women in STEM, balancing a STEM career with your personal life can be really tough, right? Sometimes your work requires long hours, you're constantly learning, you're taking this certification, you're doing this, you're doing that. And it requires a high level of commitment. And it's very important to remember the other things that you need to prioritize. I think during the workshop, one of our speakers, Jessica, mentioned how she has vast experience working with major brands, and she talked about the importance of setting boundaries and making self-care a priority. And I felt like she was talking to me, honestly, because I really need it in this season of my life. She shared some really great tips on how to effectively manage your time so that work doesn't take over your entire life. I know before we had the workshop, I had a private conversation with her where she shared the same thoughts with me, and loved the conversation so much because it showed the trajectory of the way things were going in her life when work was crazy and the way things were going in her life when she made the shifts, right? You can see it affects you in different ways. It could be in your health, it could be in your relationships, it could be in so many different things. And so I think for me, I have personally struggled with it myself. I remember when I was studying in school and I was pursuing my plastics engineering degree, I often felt very overwhelmed because the workload was intense and I felt like I was missing out on so many things. Even when I started working, the transition between my last year of college and my first year of working professionally, I felt like I was missing out on personal time, hanging out with friends, building my relationships, going on trips. Over time, I also realized the importance of setting boundaries. And so I started making time for myself, whether it was like do something active or hang out with friends or just relax. It really helps improve your entire being and it makes you more productive at work, actually. I think for me, I don't play about PTO. I really think it's necessary. I think the higher ups know how important it is for you to rest. That's why they institute PTO. They are not crazy for put together. And so I realized how important it is to sometimes just disconnect from work and then do other things and then come back refreshed with a brand new mindset and you have new ideas and all that. And I think a few strategies that I believe we shared during the workshop that I found really helpful were that, first of all, set clear boundaries, right? Know when your workday starts and when it ends and try to stick to it as much as possible. I remember one of my managers in the course of my career, he mentioned to me when he first met me, one of our initial conversations, he said, what hours do you work? And I was like, okay. So I told him and he was like, okay, so I know not to reach you before this time and after this time. And the same went for him. He told me what hours he worked. And I thought that was so important. First, it was weird because I was like, who does that? But then I realized how important it was because it gave us timeline or it gave us that window to work with. Nobody reaches out to you beyond the time that you signed out of work. If not, it becomes very unhealthy. And secondly, prioritize your self-care. Make sure that you make time for activities that rejuvenate you. Don't just make time for things that will stress you out more. You need to balance it. Whether it's reading or spending time with people you love, remember that the key is to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And something that I personally need to learn is to delegate. If you're in a leadership position, for example, you need to be able to trust your team and delegate work to them because it also empowers them and it helps them, but it also relieves you of so many other stresses as well. One of the powerful moments during our workshop was when one of our speakers, Maureen, shared her experience of balancing motherhood and a demanding career. And she talked about how she managed being a single mother while excelling in STEM career. And when I heard she was a single mom, I was even more impressed because her career is so impressive. Like from the sidelines, I've just been admiring and seeing all that she's been able to achieve in her career. And so when I hear things like, oh, she's actually a single mom, I'm like, how are you doing it? Give me all these tips because I was just really impressed because I know how hard it is to balance your career and then being a parent as well. I love that she emphasized the importance of having a support system and recognizing that it's okay to ask for help. And I think her story is one of the reminders that we all need, that we don't need to do things alone, right? You don't get an award for struggling to get everything done. No, you don't. You need to recognize you need to know and understand yourself and your body actually to know when to ask for help and when not to ask for help. And it doesn't make you less than if you ask for help in any way. I think women, we need to understand that and recognize that fact. When I was putting together this workshop, I knew I needed help. And so I reached out when I needed help. This is something I'm still working on. I don't have it all figured out, but I'm definitely still working on it. And I just want to share a few practical tips with you. Time management, right? Use effective tools like calendars and to-do lists to help manage your time effectively. Learn to break your tasks into smaller. If you're the type of person that needs to check things off a list, it really helps you check things off a list when you break it down into smaller tasks. Also, try to have flexible working hours. If possible, negotiate flexible working hours with your employer, your manager. This can help you also manage personal commitments better. Incorporate meditation and prayer walks. Do things that de-stress you. It could be like reading a book or anything that would reduce your stress. Lastly, seek professional help if you are feeling overwhelmed in any way. Get a counselor, a mentor, a therapist, or join a support group like Dear Women in STEM within your industry. Create spaces where we can talk about these things, because who better to understand what you're going through than someone who is in the field that you work in? I hope you are able to take some of these practical tips and actually work with them, help you balance your time better. Now, one of the most important takeaways from our workshop was also the power of community, right? Surrounding yourself with people who understand your journey and being able to share your struggles and successes with them. Like, this is something that I live and breathe by. I feel like this is literally who I am. Everyone that is connected to me or everyone that is close to me, I have open conversations with them, whether I'm starting a business or whether struggling with something at work or I just need to bounce something off of one of my friends. I have created, or I try to create, that really strong support group within my friendships to be able to create that space for us to be able to talk about things and talk to every single time. And remember that having a strong support network makes a world of a difference. Make sure that you find that support network. Join Dear Women in STEM. Subscribe to our newsletter, check out everything that we do, join our workshops and upcoming things that we're doing, and build that strong community within your space that you find yourself in. And remember, it's okay to take a break. It's okay to say no. It's okay to take a break. I'm talking to myself. These are words I need to keep saying to myself to remember that prioritizing myself is really not a sign of weakness in any way. And that it's actually a sign of strength, because when I'm able to take care of myself and de-stress, I'm the best version of myself. And so I just want to wrap up this episode by reminding you that work-life balance is something that you have to constantly work at. It's a hierarchy. You have to figure out what is important for you at whatever stage you are in your life and rank your priorities in that way. I don't believe that there is a way to balance it equally. Now, I think it requires a lot of strategizing and reflection to be able to figure out what actually works for you and when. So yeah, thank you all for joining me on this episode. I hope you found the episode very helpful. Please share with friends and other people who you think might benefit from it as well. If you have any tips or stories about how you personally achieve work-life balance, in quotes, I'd love to hear them. You can share them in the comment section. And for those who listen to us on Spotify, they just activated the comment section in Spotify. So drop us a comment on Spotify and we would love to read it. So as always, remember, we're stronger together, and let's continue to support and uplift one another as we navigate our journeys in STEM. Until next time, keep shining, keep thriving, keep striving, and stay empowered. Join our community, our network, our newsletter. Follow us everywhere at Dear Women in STEM. We're on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, X, wherever, all the social media platforms. And don't forget to join and sign up for our next workshop. As always, I'm your host, Lilian Judy signing off. Thank you so much for your time, attention, love, support, and every single thing in between. I'll see you all on the next episode.